Have you ever wondered why some seemingly average guys, the ones without flashy cars, sculpted abs, or overflowing bank accounts, still manage to attract deeply desirable women? It's a quiet mystery most men ignore, and yet the answer has nothing to do with what they think matters. Most men spend years perfecting their appearance, chasing money, or learning scripted pickup lines, all in the hope of becoming attractive. But here's the hard truth. Women aren't attracted to what a man has, they're drawn to what a man is. And most men completely misunderstand the psychology behind that. Because the truth is, female attraction runs on a deeper frequency, one that speaks in emotion, not logic, in presence, not possessions. The real key doesn't lie in your wallet or your mirror. It's hidden in the subconscious realm of female psychology, where emotion, instinct, and energy silently shape desire. This video will uncover that hidden map. We're about to explore 10 deeply rooted psychological switches that, when flipped, ignite feminine attraction not superficially, but from the inside out. These aren't tricks. They're truths, and if you truly understand them, they will forever change the way you connect with women. Let's begin with the foundation, perhaps the most underrated masculine trait of all. Attraction is not random. It's patterned. And one of the strongest emotional triggers for a woman is this: the presence of a man who cannot be emotionally shaken. Imagine this. She's overwhelmed. Maybe she's venting, crying, spiraling, and instead of reacting, judging, or trying to fix her, you hold your ground, calm, present, unmoved, yet completely there. That moment, that's when something clicks deep in her subconscious. You become what most men aren't, a safe harbor in the storm. Because here's what most men don't realize: a woman's emotional world is a broadcast, constantly shifting, highly intuitive, and deeply responsive. She's not looking for a man who matches her emotional chaos. She's seeking a frequency of stability, like a radio tower that remains clear even during a thunderstorm. While she's the emotional transmitter, you're the receiver, and your clarity is what she tunes into. Being emotionally certain doesn't mean being cold. It means being rooted. It means not being thrown off by her moods, not needing her validation to feel okay, and not flinching when her emotions flare. In today's world, this type of presence is rare. And because it's rare, it's irresistibly attractive. I've coached countless men over the years, and without fail, the ones who master this principle see the most dramatic changes, not just in dating, but in leadership, friendships, and self-worth. Emotional certainty is not just a skill, it's a masculine essence. And once you embody it, women feel it, instantly, without a word. Coming up next, we'll dive into a second, equally powerful element of subconscious attraction, one that explains why some men never need to chase women. Because women chase them. Stay tuned. If emotional certainty is the magnetic force that makes a woman feel safe, then the scarcity effect is a gravitational pull that makes her crave more. And here's the paradox most men miss. What is too available becomes invisible. In behavioral psychology and economics, this is known as the scarcity principle, the idea that people assign more value to things that are rare, limited, or just out of reach. And it applies to attraction more powerfully than most men realize. Let me paint the picture. Imagine two men. One replies to her text within seconds, cancels plans to be available for her, showers her with compliments before she's earned any of them. He gives everything too easily. The other? He's kind, attentive, but not always reachable. He values his time. He doesn't seek approval. He's present when he's there, but he's not trying to win her. Guess who lives rent-free in her mind? The second man, every time. Because mystery breeds desire. What we can't fully grasp becomes a puzzle. And the female mind, especially when emotionally activated, loves a good puzzle. If he's not chasing me, does he already have options? Why is he so calm around me? Does he see something I don't? Why do I feel like I want to prove myself to him? That's the scarcity effect at play. not as a game, but as a reflection of your self-worth. When you treat yourself as high value, when your time, attention, and energy are reserved for what matters, women feel that. And it flips a deep psychological switch. If I want him, I might have to earn him. And this, ironically, is what makes attraction deepen not with effort, but with selectivity. I've seen men who radically change nothing about their looks, income, or lifestyle, but simply stop making themselves so emotionally available. The result? Women began to notice, to lean in, to chase. Because value isn't always shown, it's often withheld. Not in a manipulative way, but in a way that communicates. My presence is a privilege. So if you're the guy who gives too much, too fast, hoping to win her over, pause. Let her feel your absence as much as your presence. That contrast creates tension, and tension is where attraction lives. Next, we'll unlock another deep psychological lever, one rooted not in what you do, but in what you believe about yourself. Keep watching. Sometimes the most powerful man in the room is the one who says the least. There's a unique, almost primal magnetism in a man who doesn't need to speak loudly to command attention. It's in the way he enters a space calm, self-possessed, unhurried. It's in his stillness, his eye contact, his posture, and above all, it's in his voice, grounded, steady, deep like distant thunder. Presence isn't about dominating. It's about anchoring. I once knew a man, let's call him Elijah. He wasn't rich, flashy, or particularly good-looking. But when he walked into a room, conversations shifted. People instinctively made space. He didn't try to be interesting. He simply was. Not because he talked a lot, but because he listened. He observed. And when he finally spoke in a low, measured tone, everyone leaned in, women especially. Why? Because presence is energetic gravity, and voice is the instrument of that gravity. In a world full of noise and fast talkers, the man who can hold silence, who speaks slowly, with intention, stands out like still water in a storm. Think about it. What is a deep voice signal? Control, safety, depth. It's not about sounding like a movie trailer narrator. It's about speaking from your center, not your anxiety. And presence? That comes from self-trust. You don't fidget. You don't over-explain. You're not seeking approval. You are simply there fully. But what should I say to impress her? Wrong question. Ask instead, what energy am I embodying when I say nothing? Because here's the truth. Most women aren't consciously judging your words or feeling your vibe. And nothing says masculine confidence like a man who can sit with silence, speak with purpose, and radiate presence like a calm flame in the dark. I've watched men transform from invisible to magnetic by doing one simple thing: slowing down, breathing deeper, lowering their vocal tone, owning their presence instead of chasing attention. And suddenly, the room notices. So remember, you don't have to be loud to be powerful. You don't have to say much to be unforgettable. Your energy walks in before your words ever do. Coming up next, we'll explore a trait that isn't about what you show to the world, but what you never reveal too soon. There's something undeniably captivating about a man who is willing to walk away, not out of anger, not out of ego, but from a place of inner strength and deep self-worth. Let's imagine this common scenario. A woman flirts with a man, then suddenly pulls back, acting distant, cold, testing the waters. Most guys panic. They lean in harder, chase more, start over-explaining themselves. But not him. He simply smiles and walks away. Calm, unbothered. No drama, no games, just quiet dignity. And in that moment, everything changes. You see, the psychology behind this is rooted in something called loss aversion. Humans are wired to feel the pain of loss more intensely than the joy of gain. So when a man shows he's willing to leave, It triggers a powerful emotional response. Wait, what am I about to lose? Suddenly, he becomes a scarce resource. Not because he played hard to get, but because he values himself more than the chase. This is what separates attractive men from needy ones. The attractive man doesn't need her validation to feel whole. He can enjoy her presence, but never at the cost of his integrity. Walk-away power is not a tactic. It's a mindset. It says, I know my worth. I'm not afraid to be alone, and I refuse to beg for love. Here's the twist. The moment a man is no longer afraid to lose her is often the moment she becomes afraid to lose him. I've seen this play out in both dating and business. The people who radiate value aren't always the most skilled. They're the ones least afraid to walk away from situations that don't serve them. That quiet confidence is addictive. So if you ever feel tempted to cling tighter when a woman pulls away, pause. Ask yourself, am I acting from fear or from strength? Because real attraction isn't about possession. It's about being so grounded in your self-worth that even letting go becomes an act of power. And when you do that, she won't see you as just another man trying to win her over. She'll see you as the man she doesn't want to lose. Coming up next, we'll uncover a trait that's often overlooked, yet quietly irresistible. Mystery and why women are drawn to the unknown more than you think. There's a rare kind of man who doesn't orbit around women because he's already revolving around something greater mission, and that's magnetic. Women may admire a man for his charm, but they respect and fall deeply for a man with purpose. Think about the great men in history. Napoleon, driven by conquest. Steve Jobs, obsessed with reshaping the world through innovation. They didn't beg for attention. Their vision pulled people in, including women, who want to be part of something larger than life. Now, let's bring that into modern dating. Too many men make women the center of their world. They drop their hobbies, lose momentum at work, sacrifice their growth all in the name of love. But here's the truth no one says out loud. Love isn't the destination. It's the companion for the journey. A man without a mission is like a car without a steering wheel. Sure, the ride may look nice, but it's not going anywhere. Women instinctively sense this. They want to be part of an adventure, not the purpose of your existence. When a man wakes up every morning with direction, whether it's building a business, writing a book, training for something bigger, he radiates focus. He's not distracted. He doesn't check his phone every 5 minutes waiting for her reply. And ironically, that very detachment draws her closer because it signals something powerful. I don't need you to complete me, but I'd love to share the journey if you're aligned. Every time I've strayed from my purpose to chase someone, I lost both. But every time I stayed grounded in my mission, the right people naturally gravitated toward me, including women who matched my energy, not drained it. So if you feel like you've been chasing love that slips through your fingers, don't chase harder, anchor deeper, reconnect with your why. Because when you walk the path of purpose, you don't chase love. Love finds you. In the next section, we'll explore a trait even more influential than purpose, the emotional intelligence that allows you to tune into her world without losing yours. Most men were taught to man up, to bury their emotions deep where no one can see them. Others, in reaction, swing to the opposite extreme, oversharing, bleeding their stories out in hopes of being understood. But here's the truth. Real strength isn't the absence of emotion, it's the ability to reveal it with precision. Control vulnerability is the sweet spot. It's when a man, grounded in self-respect, chooses to open a window, not tear down all his walls. And that, paradoxically, makes him magnetic. Let me tell you a story. A friend of mine once went on a date with a woman he really liked. Instead of showing off, he calmly shared a moment from his past, how he had lost a business, hit rock bottom, and rebuilt himself from nothing. No drama, no self-pity, just calm honesty, laced with the quiet pride of someone who'd survived the storm. Her response? She leaned in, eyes softening. Not because he was weak, but because he was real. That's the power of selective emotional transparency. Women don't want a robot, but they also don't want an emotional dumping ground. The difference lies here. Are you sharing to connect, or are you sharing to be rescued? When you reveal pain with ownership not as a plea for sympathy, but as a chapter in your hero's journey, you signal emotional maturity. You say, I've been through darkness, but I'm no longer defined by it. That's attractive. That's rare. Because most men either hide everything or overshare with no filter. Controlled vulnerability communicates this. I trust you enough to show you a piece of me, but I don't need your validation to hold together. Some of my deepest connections didn't come from moments when I impressed people, but when I dare to be real in just the right dose. It's not about how much you share. It's how grounded you are when you share it. So next time you feel the urge to open up, pause and ask, am I revealing strength or am I asking to be saved? In the next part, we'll explore how a man's ability to attune to emotional wavelengths while still holding his own becomes the ultimate dance of masculine-feminine polarity. Let's address one of the most misunderstood dynamics in male-female psychology. Women test men. And no, it's not always logical, it's primal. You've probably been there. She pulls away slightly. She becomes colder, less responsive, and your brain screams, what did I do wrong? But here's the truth. It's rarely about you doing something wrong. It's about her trying to see if you'll break your center. These are called subconscious tests. Not to be manipulative, but to assess one simple question. Is this man emotionally grounded, or is he just pretending? Imagine this like wind testing the strength of a tree. A weak tree bends, even snaps. A strong one stands, rooted unshaken. Women don't want to be the storm, but they do want to know that if life sends one your way, you won't collapse. Let's break it down with a classic example. You text her and she delays her response. You feel anxiety rise. You start double texting, questioning, apologizing. That's the moment she sees it. Your internal world is dictated by her reactions. But the man who passes the test, he notices a change but stays centered. He doesn't panic. He doesn't try to convince, chase, or overcorrect. Instead, he leans back with quiet confidence. I don't chase stability. I create it. You see, the real test isn't about her, it's about you. Can you maintain your emotional posture when things feel uncertain? Because every woman consciously or not is searching for a man whose value doesn't collapse under pressure. And here's the irony. The moment you stop fearing her withdrawal, she begins to lean back in. Why? Because emotional resilience is rare, and rare is attractive. I've learned that when a woman tests you, it's not a punishment, it's an invitation. To stand strong, to show her she can rest in your calm, to remind her that storms don't scare you. In the next chapter, we'll talk about something even more subtle, the emotional calibration between two people, where presence meets sensitivity and masculine steadiness meets emotional intelligence. There's a powerful shift that happens when a man no longer fears rejection, because rejection, at its core, isn't about you being not enough. It's about you letting someone else decide your worth. Most men crumble at the thought of being turned down. Their hearts race, palms sweat, words stumble. But here's the truth. Fear of rejection doesn't come from low value. It comes from attaching your identity to someone else's approval. Women are exquisitely tuned to this energy. They can feel it before you even speak. The tension, the need for validation, the performance. But when a man steps forward, fully accepting that her yes or no changes nothing about his core, that is magnetic. Think of it like this. When you're not clinging to the outcome, You become the most powerful version of yourself. You speak with calm certainty. You flirt playfully, not desperately. You smile at a no not because you don't care, but because you care more about staying true to who you are. Let me tell you what women really respect. Not bravado, not overconfidence, but grace under rejection. When she sees that you're not rattled, that you can hold your center even in silence or disapproval. She sees a man who doesn't chase love from fear, but attracts it from abundance. In my own journey, the moment I stopped needing yes from anyone, I started hearing it more often. Why? Because presence without pressure is irresistible. And perhaps the most attractive man in the room is the one who knows he belongs there, even if no one notices yet. In the next part, we'll explore how attraction isn't just about energy or emotion, but about the game of tension and release, and why too much availability can be a silent killer of desire. There's something undeniably magnetic about a man who isn't an open book, not because he's hiding, but because he understands that curiosity is the glue of emotional connection. Women are not just attracted to what they see. They're drawn to what they can't quite figure out. It's the way he smiles as if he knows something you don't. The pause before he answers. The hint of a story untold that leaves her wanting more. In cinema, think of James Bond. Or in real life, someone like Keanu Reeves. What makes him compelling isn't just skill or style. It's the sense that there's always more beneath the surface layers she might never fully access. A man who reveals everything at once gives her nothing to discover. But the man who leaves just enough unsaid invites her imagination into the dance. This isn't about playing games. It's about living deeply so that your life is a landscape she wants to explore. Mystery isn't created by withholding love or attention. It's created by having a rich inner world passions, dreams, thoughts that you don't lay bare to everyone. Because when a woman senses that she's slowly being let in, that trust is earned, not given, her emotional investment deepens. Some of the most connected relationships I've seen aren't built on endless talking, but on the quiet thrill of mutual discovery, a spark that keeps reigniting because he never stops being interesting. So remember, you don't have to explain everything. Sometimes silence is more seductive than words. And in the final chapter, we'll tie it all together, revealing how these 10 silent triggers of attraction form a blueprint for deep, lasting magnetism. A man who isn't controlled by his own desires is the man with true power. Desire, in its purest form, is a force. But when a man allows it to control him, he becomes its prisoner, shackled by his own cravings. Imagine someone chasing after something, constantly seeking more. They're always running, never truly satisfied, but trapped in a cycle of want. Now, picture a man who doesn't chase. Instead, he controls his impulses, knows when to step back, and moves forward with deliberate intention. This isn't about repression. It's about understanding that true strength lies in choice, the ability to say no when it matters most. I once witnessed a man in a social gathering, faced with a temptation, pause. He turned away, not because it was wrong, but because he understood the value of restraint. The moment wasn't lost on the woman watching him. Her respect for him only deepened, not because he denied her, but because he demonstrated the power of self-control. When a man isn't driven by every passing desire, he becomes a pillar. Women are naturally drawn to strength, and strength doesn't come from indulgence, it comes from mastery. A man who controls his desires holds the key to his own world, and in doing so, he holds the power to shape the world around him. Conclusion: master yourself, and they will follow. To truly be magnetic isn't about tricks or manipulating situations. True attraction stems from one core principle: self-mastery. Throughout these 10 silent triggers, we've explored the deep psychological elements that govern attraction. These aren't just tips, they are a reflection of a deeper truth. The most powerful men are those who understand and control themselves. When you don't need approval, when you don't chase validation, when you stand firm in your own identity, people will follow you. Women will be drawn to your authenticity, your calm strength, your mystery, and your emotional security. And that's where real connection begins, not with seeking, but with becoming. If you see the value in these insights, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and embark on the journey of mastering yourself. Remember, the path to true attraction is not about manipulating others, it's about becoming the best version of yourself. When you do that, everything else will fall into place.